welcome to the show. This is Everything Under the Sun. My name is Ty. Hope all are doing amazing out there and taking care of yourselves as much as possible. I have been doing a lot of thinking recently about this idea of being general. And this is kind of in the sense of, I guess it's in relation to a lot of things I've been speaking about recently with kind of tuning your dial in the relation of where you want to go in life, or kind of the station that you want to be on, or kind of the motions and the things that you want to do in your life to make it the most joyous for you. The thing that the stuff that can allow you to live the most fulfilling life that's in accordance with what you feel and what you believe and what's most meaningful for you. And a lot of times as we start to move towards these things that we want, maybe these goals or aspirations, or maybe just a life that is pleasant or meaningful for us, a lot of times when we move towards these things, we're very specific about what it is that we want, the specific item that we want, the specific situation that we want, maybe the specific outcome that we want. And I've spoken about this before, how a lot of times we can have goals or expectations or aspirations, the things that we want, but the way that we get to that place may be unknown to us. And as we kind of say, this is the route that we're going to go, you may hit a lot of turmoil on that route, because the route that is most conducive for where you want to go and the most enjoyment that you can have is maybe in another direction. But your idea, your set idea of this is the way that it has to be done, this is the item that I have to have, this is the person that I have to have, as long as you have your mindset set on that, then there's going to be a lot of disruption. And now it doesn't mean that you can't have goals that are in alignment with those things, but as we get more specific with it, we have more expectations, and those expectations lead us to more letdowns in many situations. I've mentioned this in an episode before, how a lot of times these things that we're looking for, this other person, this other situation, maybe this other destination, this vacation, whatever it may be, that we're trying to have in our lives, that we're trying to acquire and experience, there's something deeper at the root of what you're trying to experience within that, what you're trying to gain within having that item, within having that person, within having that situation, or living in that place. You want to have joy, you want to have fulfillment, you want to feel complete, you want to feel like you're free, you want to feel these deeper things that are more meaningful, the things that feel good for you. That's why you're doing these things, that's why you're trying to achieve these things, that's why you're wanting these things in your life, because of the things that you think that they will provide for you. And maybe they will provide those things for you, but as you stay specific with how you're going to get there, how you're going to get that thing, and holding your happiness on having that thing, or having that person, or being in that place, as long as you hold your happiness in that thing outside of you, then it has the potential to crumble apart in front of you and dissolve your happiness and anything that you thought can bring you happiness. You see, when you start to put your happiness or these things without realizing that what I want is love, what I want is compassion, what I want is freedom, what I want is joyousness, what I want is these deeper emotions, what I want to have is fun in my life, like whatever it is that you want to have at that deeper level, recognize what that is, because as you hold that emotion and all these other items and all these other people and these places, you're allowing those people to crush your dreams. You're allowing those places to be far outside of your reach and therefore remove you and restrict you from the happiness that you want. Now, again, it's not to say that you don't want to have maybe a nice car or a big house or a really good job that you love and enjoy, but hold the emotion of what that is. Be kind of more general in the sense that you're being general with the idea of what you want and how you're going to get there. Maybe you say, I want a really good job that I love. And maybe right now you have a specific job that you're like, I know I would love this job. This job is the job for me. And maybe it is the job for you. But if you're focused so much on that specific job and then you don't get it, then your happiness has been ripped out of you in a way. At least there's a lot of negative emotion that you're starting to feel in this moment. But if you hold the expectation that I want a job that's fulfilling, that I love, that I wake up in the morning and I'm excited about, that I'm just so excited about this job. Every time I wake up in the morning, I get up in the morning just thriving and ready for work. Even if I wasn't getting paid for this job, I would still love to do this job. Now, if you hold that expectation of having a job like that, then it can be that job that you're really wanting, or it can be any other job. But if you hold that truth that I'm going to have this job that I love and that I'm passionate about, if that other job gets taken and it gets off the market, then you're still going to be okay because all of your expectations, all of your hopes weren't in that specific job. They were in what you feel in yourself. And that was the truth that you're going to have an amazing job that you wake up every morning and that you enjoy. And then as you hold that, you'll find other jobs. You'll find so many more things that are in alignment with that because now you're holding that steady. You're recognizing that I have not only one option, not only this one job, but the world has so many options for me. As we allow ourselves to go general with the things that we want in our lives and kind of go general in a specific way, which is specifically indulging in that emotion of what you want to feel out of a situation, what you want to feel just in life. And let the situation start to come to you, let the ideas come to you saying, yeah, I would love a job that does this, or I would love a relationship that does this, or I would love to live in a location that has this. But at the root of it all is this emotion, is the thoughts start to come from these emotions that you have, the emotions that you hold steady with what you want to have in your life. I mean, think about any successful person that has, any successful person that is around right now. They had passion for what they did. They didn't allow anything to allow them to give up on what they did. Now, of course, they had maybe specific goals that they wanted to achieve, but first and foremost, they had success on their mind. They had the knowing that they wanted to have success and that they were going to have it. So now success, it can be in whatever avenue, but now they have this idea of, I'm going to be successful, I'm going to be important of whatever magnitude. Then they get this idea and they're like, oh, yeah, I think I'm going to move towards that. But the feeling comes first. The knowing that you're going to have this thing is going to come before the idea comes, because the only idea that's going to perpetuate from negative feelings or kind of hitting a roadblock or having that job get taken right in front of you and now you're kind of left with these negative emotions, the only thing those negative emotions are going to lead to is more negative emotions. Allow yourself to hold steady a feeling of positivity, a feeling that you would want to have out of a situation, and not hold any situation in alignment with that specific thing, if that makes sense. Hold the emotion, but not the situation with the emotion. Don't tie the situation and the emotion with one another. Stay general with yourself as you move towards the things that you want, because then every step of the way that you're like, I want to have love in my life. I want to have enjoyment in my life. I want to have fulfillment. I want peace in my life. As you stay general, you're not saying that it'd be peaceful if I can meditate every day at this time, but these kids just keep running around. Maybe I would have fun in my life if I didn't work so many hours in my life. It's like you can't associate certain things with the happiness that you want to feel. Start feeling it right now. And then you'll find opportunities to indulge in that happiness even more, to indulge in that thing that you want to have even more, because you're holding that steady. You're saying, I want this in my life, and therefore I'm going to have it in my life. And as with most things that I'm bringing up, this is something that we have to work our way towards, because just as we want to be general with our lives and our situations and the things that we're moving towards, we also have to be general with our emotional states and where we are, the beliefs that we've had and things that we've carried with us, because those are also things that we have to start to dismantle. Just like those negative beliefs about not being able to be good enough or not being able to achieve something or whatever it may be. Those are things that need to be dismantled. Those are beliefs that need to be dismantled. And as we dismantle those big things, those things that maybe we've carried for decades, those things are huge. And they're things that are going to have to be slowly removed. But you can't remove it by saying, well, I've been really depressed, but now I'm happy. You have to slowly move yourself in that direction, and you can't just use words to get yourself to that place. You have to slowly move it, and slowly moving means being general. I spoke in the last episode about allowing, so that is going to be the first part of this, because when you allow something to happen, especially something like sadness, immense sadness that comes along with depression, if you can allow that emotion to happen without the thoughts, I know that can be something difficult, but if you just allow the thoughts to subside and see the emotion to be, and you sit with that emotion will subside just enough for you to say, Well, I was depressed, but now I'm sad. And although that may not seem like a difference, it's a big difference. Would you rather be depressed or would you rather be sad? And as we kind of start to move things slowly along this scale, we realize that we can be as general as we need to until we get to that station that we want to be on. And allow each station that you get on, each time you move in a general direction, allow that sadness to be. Then when you allow that sadness to be, then you're saying, okay, well, now I'm kind of just apathetic. I don't really care about anything. And maybe that's a step down for some people, or maybe that's a step up from that sadness. And then from that apathy, you kind of allow that to be, and then you kind of move in a more general direction, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm just, okay. Nothing's too bad, or I guess nothing's necessarily good, but nothing's really bad. As you start to move along the scale, you moved from in severe pain, depression, to a place of sadness. And then from that state of sadness to a place of apathy. And although these things are in the DSM as being symptoms of depression, you're still moving along a scale that is something that is a little bit more pleasing. And although it may not be pleasing in the long run, as far as just like, well, shit, am I just going to be sad for the rest of my life? Well, it's going to be a little bit better than the state before. Am I just going to be apathetic for the rest of my life? Well, maybe it's a little bit better. Maybe it feels a little bit better than the place you were before. And this is all something that's dependent upon what you feel. Recognize your feelings and recognize when you are in a place. It doesn't have to be within words. Like, your emotional state doesn't have to have words to describe it, as long as you understand it, as long as you understand where you are. And if you recognize that you've moved in a place where maybe you were super anxious and now you're like, I'm not incredibly overwhelmingly anxious, I'm just super stressed out. And then that is your emotion. Okay, yes, okay, I'm going to allow, okay, I feel stressed. Okay, well, now I'm a little less stressed and I'm just kind of worried. You're moving along the scale. And again, identify those words with how you want to identify them, or don't even put words towards the emotion, but just be general, because these are big beliefs that you've had. You've had these beliefs that you weren't good enough, that the world is shit and everything is against you. And there are these beliefs that have been held for so long. There are these beliefs that we carry with us, and we don't realize how strong they've become until we try to counteract them, and until we try to do something that's in opposition to them. And that's when we kind of feel as though, shit, I'm doing something wrong, or I can't do this because it's too much. We're trying to eliminate something that we've been carrying for years. Allow yourself to be very general with yourself as you move down the scale and towards the place that you want to be. Allow your beliefs to be transformed through this generalization. Allow them to be transformed into the emotions that you want to have, the ones that you want to have dominant. And that's really what all this comes down to, whether it's the goals and aspirations and the situations that are outside of us, whether it's the unwanted beliefs that hold us back from believing that we can achieve the things or get through an obstacle that is presented in front of us. All of it comes down to the emotional response that we have within ourselves. And that's where we have to be the most general, because the emotion is what we want out of life. We want happiness, we want love, we want joyousness, we want fulfillment, we want to feel connected and one with each other and feeling as though we can be ourselves, and that be enough. That's at the root of many of the things that we aspire towards. And as we kind of value those feelings, we value that feeling of life that we want to have, we value that over all else, then that's when we can live the most fulfilling life that we can have. But just as our goals and our beliefs, we have to be very general with our emotional states, because our emotions are kind of shrouded around and entangled with these beliefs that we have, and entangled within the goals and aspirations that we have, which is entangled within the beliefs that we have. Everything is all connected and entangled with one another. But as you kind of look at your emotional state and recognize and value that you want to feel good, then allow yourself to have that be the other end of this pole, the other end of this generalization, where it's like, okay, this is where I want to go. With my feelings, the things that I feel within myself, I want to go in this other side, on this other end of the scale. And I know that it's okay to be exactly where I am now. That's where that allowance is. It's the judgment free. It's okay. It's okay that I am where I am now. Allow yourself to be okay with the situation, and then slowly, generally, move yourself into a closer place towards that direction that you want to go in. And again, it may not seem like the biggest step, but if it's from a deep, immense, physically painful depression that you're going through to a severe sadness, I mean, that's a big difference. And although maybe you want to move all the way to love and fulfillment and fun, lifelong enjoyment in your life on the other end of that scale, allow yourself to be in that deep sadness. Allow that situation to be. Don't feed it with thoughts like I spoke about in the allowing episode. Don't feed it with the thoughts that perpetuate it. Just allow the emotion itself to be. And then when that slowly starts to die down, recognize where you are now. Huh. Okay. I don't really know where I feel now. I'm not necessarily painfully in a depressive state. I'm not deeply, deeply sad. I don't really know what I feel. I kind of just feel numb. Okay. Do you feel as though that's better than where you were? Recognize that you're moving yourself and where you're moving yourself and how fast you're moving yourself in a certain direction. And just allow it to be. And if you find yourself sliding back on the scale, don't judge yourself. Again, this is judgment free. Don't judge yourself. Allow it to be and say, oh, okay, I slid back a little bit. That's okay. Generalize yourself back into the place that you want to be. It's a process. It's something that you're working with yourself every single day. You're with yourself every single day. So you have time to do this every single day. It's a moment of breathing, closing your eyes, taking a bathroom break, doing something that can allow you to just allow the situation to be. And then generalize yourself to a better place. So yeah, that's really all I had with this episode. It's really been something that's on my mind because, again, there are so many big things that we try to challenge in our lives, so many things that we try to change in our lives, and they're huge. They're huge situations because we're confronting them for the first time maybe in decades. So allow yourself to be general and allow yourself that ease, allow yourself the compassion along the way, because that's what this generalization is. It's allowing yourself compassion in this process. Being compassionate with yourself and saying that it's okay. That being general is saying it's okay, and that I know that I value something more within myself, and I'm going to hold steady to that. And it's okay that I feel what I feel now. And as I am okay with that and let that be, without perpetuating with more thoughts, as I let that be, I know that I can shift ever so slightly more in the direction that I want to go in. And that's all that matters. One step at a time, even if it's a half step, you're still moving forward. You're still moving in the direction that you want to go in. Be compassionate with yourself. Take time with yourself. And give love to yourself, most importantly, because that's what this is all about. The love that you're giving to yourself. Because that will help you to move in these places in life that seem hard. And even that love for yourself is something that you have to move yourself towards, because self-love is something that's hard. It's something it's challenging, but it's within you, and it's always been within you. It's really just you connecting with that love that's already present. And that may take time. So take time with yourself and give as much love to yourself as you can. And stay general. So yeah, that's all I got with this. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. If you have any ideas or thoughts or anything that you'd like to share, you can send those to everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. You can join any of the social media groups, Instagram, everything.sunpodcast, Twitter, @everysunpodcast, and the Facebook group, @everysunpodcast as well. So yeah, that's all I got. I love you all, and I will see you next time.